Okay. Do you see me now?
I see you, darling. I saw you.
Okay.
I saw you before.
Okay. Okay. So we're good now, right?
Yes, we're excellent.
All right. Good. Okay. Let's go.
All righty.
Craps out.
Before something craps out again. How y'all doing? Appreciate y'all coming out to hang out with us. It's
Yeah. Sorry,
episode
guys.
28 of the KetovoreKast as she sips some unknown beverage. What are you drinking, darling?
I'm not going to tell you.
Oh,
I'll let
good,
that,
huh?
leave it up to the imagination. It's more
Water.
probably,
Water.
but,
I get asked all the time, "Do you drink coffee? I thought you didn't drink coffee." I drink water out of a really big coffee cup. Works
Yeah,
for
I got to
me.
get rid of my coffee. Got to go. Oh, got to go. Yeah.
Still fighting that battle, are you?
Yeah, yes. I am. No excuses.
I'm not saying a word. My lips are sealed.
Smart man. Smart man.
Hashtag survival skills. So you're in a much better
That's right.
mood than you were this time a couple weeks ago, my friend. Let's see, could it be because you got to experience a little bit of freedom and got to enjoy some of the things in life that you appreciate? Is that it? Is that what happened to you?
Dancing, got to go dancing, got to see some friends. Yeah, got to do some boot scooting, so it's all good. Life is good. Life is so much better. Yes, 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 yes. Yeah, and we get to go to restaurants. I mean, it's not, everything isn't fully open right now. I think restaurants can be at 50% capacity right now. And not every restaurant is open, but the one I go to is. And guess what? Well, you don't really know this, but Steiner Ranch is like one of the, really good steak places in the Austin area. And our 34th anniversary is on Sunday. So Saturday night, we're going out and we have reservations for Steiner Ranch. So I'm super excited. So
cool.
Yeah. And then, of course, we're going to go out dancing and we get to hear one of our most favorite bands. They're finally playing. I mean, not that I didn't like the bands we saw the past 2 weekends, but this is like one that we kind of follow from club to club, So I was super excited about that. So yes, my moods are better.
Excellent. Excellent. A little normal human living, like a free individual pursuing life, liberty, and happiness. Oh my gosh.
Yep.
It's kind of like America's supposed to be.
Yeah.
I can relate. I haven't been out dancing. I was able to go back to a gym. Hello, Karen. Appreciate you stopping by, Miss Karen.Carnivore. And not only did we changed gyms because Planet Fitness wasn't going. Matter of fact, they're opening tomorrow. In fact.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, but I don't care because Bailey's gym, which is a couple of miles from the house, it's 1 mile farther for me to walk there. So that's great exercise.
Yeah,
anyway,
it is.
And it's on the same side of the highway, so I don't have to cross the highway. Oh, Heidi, I am so sorry you've never been out dancing. You've missed all the fun. You've not slipped. You've not stepped in spilt beer and fallen on your bum. You haven't lived until you've done that. I'm telling you.
I haven't done that. I haven't slipped in.
Well, what are you waiting on? But I got to go.
Embarrassing.
I've got to not just go to a gym again. This gym was opened in October of last year. It has 45,000 square feet in it.
Wow, nice.
All of Duval County could lower their cholesterol and their A1C if they just quit eating crap and came in there and worked out 30 minutes a day. It is huge.
That's really cool.
And what's really special, and I wrote this down to mention, they have this workout room separate with kettlebells and punching bags and all that. So I have been intrigued by the kettlebell phenomenon I've been seeing on Instagram. And, there's a lot of people that we both follow and that are into the kettlebell thing, including one, Dr. Sean Baker. And so I started Tuesday. I picked them up and I'm like, this is pretty awesome.
I like
So
kettlebells.
I am full-time kettlebells now,
Nice,
and
nice.
I just use some hand weights to warm up with before I go to the kettlebell room.
Cool,
And
cool.
it's the first time since I was a teenager I've been able to work out Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Tomorrow will be Friday, not being too sore, but still knowing I'm feeling the effects the day after, but it's
Mhm.
not. When I would go lift real heavy and everything at Planet Fitness, the next day, ooh, I paid. I paid. Oh, I paid. And if I had to work the next day, I really paid. So this is life. Are you serious? I get to go to the gym. I get to go to the tanning booth again. I get to enjoy a 2 mile walk home every day again. Ah,
Yeah.
freedom.
Yeah, it feels really good. Yeah, you just don't realize. I mean, when this whole started, and it really, I know this is very minor for people who don't get it, but I pretty much stayed home all week, and I didn't really leave the house, and I really look forward to the weekends. And when I didn't have that to look forward to anymore, it really affected me. And I mean, it crapped me right on out. I mean, I was just kind of like, I was depressed. I don't know what a better word to use than depressed. And it was very bothersome, and I lacked motivation. And I mean, I didn't, I had so much on my to-do list that I could do, that I always said, oh, if I just had the time, I would do all this crap. Well, guess what? I wasn't doing any of it. And I had all the time in the world because since my daughter, she's a teacher, couldn't go to school, she was, teaching from home. I don't have to keep my granddaughter. And so I had all the time in the world, but I didn't feel like doing anything because I had no motivation. And I was depressed on top of that. Ugh, it was ridiculous because it's like wasted so much time, but the motivation wasn't there. It just wasn't. And so I lost out on a lot of time. But now I am like getting so much stuff done. I am revamping my YouTube, which I'm super excited about that. Y'all need to go check that out and see what y'all think about all my little thumbnails that I've been designing. Yeah, putting a lot of work in that. So y'all go check it out. I need to build my YouTube. Come on. No, I'm just kidding. But no, really. And yeah. Okay. I don't get out much, okay? So it's like blah, 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 blah. No, this is how I am in real life. No, really I am. But
She,
no,
she's
really.
telling the truth. She is telling, even when the makeup's not on and her hair's not all pretty, this is how she is.
I really am. Yeah, it's a true story. But yeah, now I'm just getting so much done, and I am really trying to build, the social media. I'm doing a lot of stuff with MeetRx behind the scenes. If y'all don't know MeetRx, go look it up and make sure you check that out because it is an awesome platform. And dot
MeetRx.com.
com, yeah. I'm doing a lot of work behind the scenes. I get to like interview people, and it's really fun. Sometimes the VIPs and sometimes people just like us. And well, I mean, we're kind of VIP, right? I mean, we're all VIPs, but whatever. Maybe just a little whatever. But it's a lot of fun. And I've been doing a lot of that. Also coaching, and that's really picking up. So that's very exciting.
Yours is
I'm
picking
thrilled to
up.
do that. Oh, am I getting yours? Is that what's
Yeah, I
happening?
think you. I
Is this
think you
happening?
are. It's been. I think maybe I need to get a wig or something and do my Amber impersonation.
Yeah, yeah, and get you some eyelashes. I don't have mine on today, by the way.
Yeah, but I
But
ain't
yeah,
wearing the
you
lip.
should, and lipstick. That
I'm
would
not doing.
really help you out.
I ain't doing the lipstick. I ain't doing it. Ain't gonna
Well,
happen.
see, then that's your problem. I'm telling you.
Before I forget it, you folks in the chat, we really appreciate y'all coming in and hanging out
Yeah,
with
thanks,
us.
y'all.
If you have any questions with regards to the carnivore way of eating, or any questions about anything that we're jibber jabbering about, we will stop jibber jabbering just to answer your question. So don't hesitate. And this episode will be uploaded to the KetovoreKast YouTube channel. And that's Ketovore with a K, Cast with a K. You all can figure the rest out because you're smart people. You're on Instagram. I,
Yeah.
it is so incredible what the freedom has done for both of us. Somebody said the voice track is off, so they're signing off. They may be like, okay,
Oh no.
we're sorry. Don't worry about it. It's probably something to do when you get people all over the world connecting right here. Karen sent a question.
Yes.
Well, let me scroll back, Karen, and see if I can find your question. Because all I do is see that you said hello, you arrived, and I'm looking for your question. Please type it again. Karen, just type it into chat, your question, and we will answer it as soon as we see it. Yes. But, this whole COVID thing and the stuff with this virus and all the ways people were kind of hooked into, be afraid, let's all freak out, let's all give up everything so we all don't die. Okay. And but all these experts, you got to do this, don't do that, and changing their mind, flip-flopping from one week to the next, sometimes from day to day, and keeping everybody all riled up and I wasn't trusting experts all that much before this.
Yeah.
And so I trust them even less now. Okay, Karen, glad you're back with us, dear. And don't hesitate to ask your question right down there where it says comment. You type it in, we'll see it, we'll answer. Amber, but what about you? If you had any issues with experts before?
Yeah. Well, it's funny that, we're talking about this because right before I got on, I saw a post from Paul Saladino where he is talking to Mark Bell, and they're talking about experts, basically how nobody is an expert, but, how dare anybody say anything different if you are not qualified, stay in your lane. And I thought that was kind of funny. I didn't get a chance to watch it all, but I plan on probably uploading it to my page too, a repost of it, because it seemed like a really good discussion. Anyway, but as far as experts go, okay, well, here's the thing. I followed expert advice for 40 years of my life. And let me tell you what it got me. Obese, high blood pressure, pre-diabetic, Raynaud's syndrome, acid reflux, IBS type symptoms. I was never diagnosed, but I'm pretty sure I had that because I had the gas, I had the bloating, I had the constipation, I had the pain. And a ton of other stuff too. And I trusted what the experts said and blamed myself because obviously I wasn't doing something right, or I had no willpower, or my genetics suck, or, whatever other excuse basically, or guilt trip that is put on you because you failed because of the government guidelines. So, and all the experts who are backing it up. Good gosh, I still see it every day. I see it. The same stuff spouted over and over again from doctors and dietitians and other so-called experts. And how dare me that I'm not an expert, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a dietitian, but how dare I spout anything different than what they were taught because I need to stay in my own lane. Well, honey, I'm just going to tell you, I did stay in my own lane for 40 years, and it got me sick and fat. And so, yes, I'm fighting back. And, call yourself an expert. Good for you. Yay. And I am not saying that there aren't good ones out there, because there absolutely are. I can list a ton of them right now. But how dare you say that none of us have the right to question or to do our own research or to get the information out there because we don't have letters behind our name? I really have an issue with that. And so, pardon me if I have a little bit of a problem trusting, because I have been majorly crapped on. And I know way too many people who are in the same situation. And I could go on and on with the different, experts, I won't even get into that because it gets into this big political thing, which it's not to me a political thing. It's common sense, but I won't bring it up. But there's other areas that are the same thing. It's like, shut your mouth because you don't know what you're saying. Okay, well, I have a mind and I have a computer and I can Google and I can research and I know how to read and I can come up with my own conclusions because I have a brain and I know how to use it. And because this is America and I'm free, I get to make my own choices and I get to decide. I don't need some expert demanding I believe a certain way. Anyway, okay, that's my soapbox. I'm done.
Oh, I'll jump on mine in a minute, but and that was well said. That was a good rant, my friend. Keto Heidi Cross says, I'm scared only because I have multiple sclerosis and I'm starting a med next month that kills off my B cells. Okay, Heidi, I'm really sorry that you have MS. I can't speak to the medicine or your B cells. I can tell you this. A gal I grew up with back in West Virginia, in 2 months, eliminated all of her progressive primary multiple sclerosis symptoms. And primary progressive multiple sclerosis is never supposed to go into remission. In 2 months, she lost her symptoms and she fired her neurologist who told her she would spend most of the rest of her life in a wheelchair, and she's been symptom-free ever since. So that's eating meat and drinking water did that for her. And she's not the only instance we know of that. Okay, moving on to Karen, who I finally saw her question. She says, I don't feel hungry. I feel my signals are unable not to think of food, cravings, etc. Normal. Okay, you're nodding your head. I get she says she doesn't feel hungry. She feels her signals are unable to not think. So she's not able to not think of food. Karen,
Okay.
That reads to me like you're not eating enough. That's classic lack of satiety. The not thinking of food, cravings, and all this kind of stuff. That's what, and the I don't feel hungry bit, that's because most likely you'd spend so many years since you listened to your natural hunger signals. And we were all like that. We all were taught to eat by the clock. Oh, it's breakfast time. Mm-hmm. It's lunch time. It's dinner time. It's snack time. That's 100,000 years ago. No, humans didn't live like that. That's not how we're designed to function. That's why we follow, I was taught this way, and Amber's heard me say it a gazillion times, and they'll hear me say it a gazillion more. This is how you do carnivore, the basics. This is what the folks who've been doing it 10 plus years teach. Only eat when you're hungry. When you are hungry, Karen, only eat meat until you are not another bite full. Only eat the meat you crave and can't afford, and absolutely under no circumstance do you ever put a sweet taste into your mouth. That's what I have to say. That's my answer to Karen's question. Go right ahead, Miss Amber from Amberland.
Okay, Karen, I kind of have a different viewpoint. I mean, what Brett said is right. And it's good that you don't have that hunger issue. That helps a lot. However, here's the thing. We have been so incredibly conditioned to make food our center of everything. It's our entertainment. It's our comfort. It's everything. It's our celebrations. I mean, think about it. Food is up in your face constantly. So even though you may not feel the hunger, you still have this up here. And that's where you have to really change your relationship with food. And this is something Sean Baker talks a lot about. And this is what we're taught when we coach, is that is one of the biggest things. Now, getting your hunger hormones in control absolutely helps. It helps a lot. But it's here too. I mean, you have got to work on that too. And it is hard. I'm not going to tell you it's not, because I mean, you can't even watch TV without food being put in your face. At your office, you probably have, donuts and lunch brought in, and people, snacking on chips, and you think you have to eat every 2 hours because that's what you've been conditioned to believe. And it just takes a little bit of time for your mind to catch up with your body. So it's awesome that you have the biological part kind of working for you. Now you got to work on the emotional, the psychological, it's such a dependency. It really is. I talk to so many people. You are not alone. And yes, it is very normal to be, because of the way we were taught and because of the addictive nature of the food that, has been put out there for us to consume. So it will take time. It will. And it helps when you talk with somebody. So, I'm not saying, you have to go book a coach or something like that, but finding somebody that you can talk to who kind of understands what you're going through is so helpful. I promise it really is. And if you can just get that out there and understand where this is coming from, it makes life so much easier.
Well said. Well said, my dear. And let's back to that's a great question, Karen. Thank you so much for that.
Very good.
And if you have any more, just throw them out there. This expert thing. I was so fed up with experts before this COVID thing. I mean, for real hardcore valid reasons, not just because, I don't like experts. They smell bad. No, it was, experts have been lying to me my whole life, just like they've been lying to you, but just about different things. Well, they lied to you about all the same things too. It's just we played in different playgrounds.
Yeah.
And I didn't believe a word of it when they first started announcing it, because it sounded so much like political doublespeak half the time, because they're never specific. They're always vague, except for when they comes to generating hysteria, and then they pick out a few choice phrases that they polled that they know frightens people, that it gets their attention and scares them. And so there's been this deliberate fear creation. And then these very same experts change their tune every couple of days. Press conferences. Oh, no, we were wrong about that. We're sorry. A new study would come out. Oh, we made a mistake. We're sorry. And see, I was lied to. I was told, take these psych meds and your depression will improve. And I followed the directions and I took those meds as prescribed. And I got worse. And I got fatter. Of course, part of that was most of the fatter part was my fault for the crap I was eating out of ignorance. And I took their med, and when those meds didn't work or work well enough or whatever, then they would give me new meds to take with the meds I was already taking. So, and I just got worse. And every time these experts would tell me, these doctors, these licensed medical physicians, psychiatrists, MDs, were writing script after script after script for me. I just got worse. I was told starting around the age of 12 that marijuana was horrible for human beings, that it would make you insane, that it would do this, that it would do that. You become a lazy, no good, do nothing, da, 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 da. And I found out through my medical marijuana experience, every word of that is BS. Medical marijuana, using marijuana got me through low carb to get me to where when I learned about carnivore, I could do it. I had an easy adaptation. And cannabis treated my depression symptoms, my anxiety symptoms, my insomnia symptoms, when all those meds wouldn't. And in 3 years I was using cannabis, I was off the meds. experts lied to me about that. And then, of course, what they lied to us all about was what we should eat.
For sure.
And what we shouldn't eat. You know, you think my mom and dad would have fed me toxic, oxalate-rich garbage like potatoes and tomatoes if they'd known what was in it? If somebody had told them what the long-term effects were? No parent would give their kids crap like that knowingly.
Nope.
So if I seem a little bit unmoved by the hysteria, promoted by these experts, hopefully you'll understand why now. Because
I have something to say about the whole medication thing too.
Go ahead.
I had like severe acid reflux, severe. And when I had the endoscopy and all that, it was said to me like this: your esophagus and stomach looks like hamburger meat. And so I was put on Nexium, and I took it every day for 8 years. And you know what would happen if I didn't take it? I would have acid come up in my mouth when I would even recline the slightest. I'm talking full out acid up in my mouth. It was awful. I did that for 8 years. And I don't know how many people have heard all the bad stuff about Nexium now. Oh my good gosh. 8 years every day I took that. And all I had to do was quit eating the crap. And I thank goodness I got off that Nexium, but an expert said I would be on Nexium the rest of my life.
Expert told me that I would be taking SSRIs and anti-anxiety medicine like Ativan, which I took for 8.5 years, and Trazodone, which I took for 8 years to help me go to sleep at night. They said that would make me better. But it didn't. It just momentarily made me less crazy, or it just put me to sleep, which is what Ativan essentially did. It just put me to sleep. And that's not much of a life. It didn't end my anxiety, but eating meat and drinking water did. Okay, Karen made a great point. She says, I have a real good handle on the carnivore way of eating. That's awesome. I just confuse with eating when not hungry and eating enough. That's part of that mindset thing. Oh, Karen's got to log off now. But that's part of that mindset thing that Amber was referring to is, if you don't change how you think about and look at food, you're going to struggle. And your chances of getting frustrated, screw it, I'll have some ice cream. That a lot of people do. And then you're back feeling horrible and you're upset with yourself because you made a mistake. It's common. Yeah. And it's about the mindset. I talk about, I look at old favorite foods the way I look at a bottle of bleach. Now, I didn't come to that instantly. I had to figure it out on my own. And everybody's got to come to terms with that in their own way that suits them.
Yeah, and it makes it really hard depending on who you're around. Do you have a good community that supports this? Or are your family members looking at you like you've lost your ever-loving mind? And, it makes it a lot more difficult. And you question yourself a lot too. And you're like, well, this what I'm doing is not normal. What everybody else is doing is what's normal. And so it makes it really hard. And your signals get all messed up because your whole physiology and everything is just screwed up. But you change that relationship with food and let your body do its thing. Eventually you'll understand when it's enough, and you understand your body's signals. It takes a while to get there. And I'm still learning too. And I've been keto since 2017, June of 2017, and carnivore since March of 2019. So I've been doing this for a decent amount of time, but I'm still learning. I'm still learning my body and what it needs, and I'm evolving, I'm changing. And matter of fact, right now I'm going through some weird changes, and I think it's that age thing, and I don't even want to use that word because blah, blah. but I'm about to turn 54 in July. And it's like, bleh, I hate that word, so I'm not saying it. But I'm about to get a
Starts with an M.
consultation. Shut up. Shush. I don't need that. Shush. But I'm going to talk to a doctor, Dr. Jay Wrigley, who he specializes in that exact thing. Plus, he is, keto carnivore. So he uses that as treatment as well as some supplementation. So I'm about to get a consultation with him because things are kind of changing. I've already, all of a sudden over the last month, and I'm like, what the hell is this?
The stress from the COVID thing probably caused that to happen, I would expect.
I don't know. We'll see. But I'm ever evolving. I'm open to listening to different things and seeing what happens. My body's changing. I know that. And as you get older, it does change. And so you have to keep adapting. So, always be open to, changing and learning and knowing your body, listening to your body. That was the point I was trying to get to is, learning your body. And it takes time because our signals have been so jacked for so long that it's
so true.
Time.
So true. So true. Well said, my friend. Yeah. Okay. Keto Heidi Cross is asking, do either of you ever have alcohol? I, in the beginning, would have a shot of vodka once in a while at night. But after I learned the following, when I learned that when we consume alcohol, our body stops burning fat until the alcohol is detoxified, I decided I never wanted to drink alcohol again because I never want my body to not be burning fat. I think it plays a significant role in why I stay sane and I'm not out in cuckoo land. And I think it has to do with ketones. I believe if my ketone level drops past a certain point, a therapeutic point, who knows what that is because nobody will study me to find out. That's when those symptoms, my inability to, the symptoms where I can't perceive my environment accurately start to return. Not eating when I'm hungry, for instance, due to work, or I fast for 12 hours to get a blood test done, and then, it's 36 hours before I get all kinds of inappropriate thoughts out of my head and I calm back down to my version of normal. So no alcohol for me.
Okay, it's my turn, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I might have some alcohol on occasion. Maybe, might, I don't know. Okay, I do. But, okay, here's the thing. Alcohol is not good for you, period. It's just not. I don't care what anybody says. It is not good for your body. I know this. I realize this. But when I go out, doing my boot scooting and thing, I will have a drink or two. I do. I will say that. I don't do it every day. I do it pretty much when we go out for the most part. Sometimes when I hang over at the kid's house next door and we're kind of outside hanging, I might have a drink. But usually it's like a Topo Chico and some vodka or some tequila. And, something along those lines. It's not, a sugary drink or whatever, but I will have alcohol on occasion. The whole thing about when you're drinking, it's not burning fat. Very true. Absolutely. Because the first thing your body does is tries to take care of that alcohol because it's toxic to your body. So that's its first thing. So it's not concerned with burning fat or anything like that. That is very true. But, if you're talking a matter of a couple of hours, a couple of times a week, it's not that major of a deal to me as far as that part goes. But honestly, it's not good for your body. And, there's no denying that. But yes, I do.
I'm not your daddy, so I'm not going to put you in timeout, I promise. Okay, Tracy Trouble 360, cool name, says, any tips for transitioning someone with Alzheimer's off a standard low-fat diet to a keto carnivore diet? Okay, that's going to depend on their level of functioning first. What is what stage Alzheimer's are they in? If they're in the very early stages, it's going to depend on how compliant they are, how open to suggestion they are. There's a lot of these behavioral things that you've got to deal with that you wouldn't have to manage in a normal situation. And as you probably already know, Alzheimer's can be just exhausting, not just for the patient, your family member, but for you as a caregiver. And because it's relentless, it's like trying to take care of an adult child, an adult who's acting like a child. It's very hard. There's no reasoning good bit of the time. So that's going to be number one. If they're compliant, then you could just say, hey, we want you to feel a little bit better, so we're going to change your diet just a little bit. Or I would recommend, if you know what they like, get keto. I would start slowly cutting their carbs back, replacing those carbs with meat and fat, animal fat, and do that 25% over a month's time, and then you get them at zero carb. You do it slow and they're compliant, it shouldn't be that difficult to transition them. But if you go straight to full keto, straight to carnivore right off the bat, that can be problematic, because then you've got somebody who's not just having mental issues, cognitive issues, they can't remember things well, they're easily agitated. All of those things going on inside of the mind of a person whose body is transitioning from being a sugar burner to a fat burner. And it can be uncomfortable for a lot of people, especially if they're going straight from standard American low-fat diet to carnivore. It can be very uncomfortable for a few days or a few weeks. So you got to factor that in. It's doable, but it's up to the caregiver to determine what tacks to take. Because if they're far enough along with their Alzheimer's, maybe you don't say anything at all. You just start feeding them different and see if they notice. I'm not saying be deceptive. I'm just give them what you want them to eat and see what happens. You just got to play that by ear. That's not a one size fits all. It's not something that we could say, oh, just do this and it'll be okay. There's too many variables. And I'll shut up now. But I wish you all the best in the world. And if you can come up with a strategy that works with your loved one or the person involved, it will be beneficial to them. Go ahead, Amber.
I don't have any experience, honestly, with anybody who has even dementia, much less Alzheimer's. I don't have experience with that. But I will say that, somebody in that situation, based on kind of what I've read or whatever, it may be difficult if you just take away their comfort foods, like say chips or cookies or whatever it is they like. That may be something they hold on to and they know, and it's a memory thing where maybe other things aren't there. So that might be a little bit difficult. And I think the best strategy personally would be to gradually start removing the crap food if they are eating that. And if you're the one doing the cooking, oh my goodness, there's so many really, really good recipes out there that are keto based. And people, if you don't say anything, they don't even know. So, if you could just get rid of the crap, that I think is going to be the hardest part. Because even like my dad and my family, whatever, they like to snack. And they don't have Alzheimer's or anything like that, but they like to snack. And so it's really, it's difficult to, try to get them to remove all of that. And so even somebody who doesn't have, the dementia, Alzheimer's, whatever, it's kind of a difficult transition. But slow, personally, I think is the best thing to do. But again, I have no experience with dementia or Alzheimer's. So
count your blessings that you don't have that experience. It's
I know.
It's not a good time.
I know.
It's not a good time for the patient. It's not a good time for the family member. It's not a good time for the care worker. You've got to have the patience of Job, and especially if they get agitated, and it's a parent. That's usually the hardest. A parent or a spouse is just the hardest for everybody to have to deal with. It's her friend's mom. She never heard of diet strategies. Yeah, this way of eating, a ketogenic diet, has been proven to be effective with Alzheimer's. It doesn't cure them but it does keep their brains from starving to death because they burn ketones for fuel, and the brain actually prefers ketones to glucose.
So speaking of ketones, I'm just going to insert this and do with it whatever you want. But there is some research done that the addition of exogenous ketones actually helps. Mm-hmm. So because they need more, like what Brett's talking about right now, that this is a situation where it might actually be beneficial to take exogenous ketones. Just be sure it's a quality product. But it's something to consider. I mean, yes, I know they're pricey, but if it helps, hey, I mean.
It was about a year ago, Dr. Baker's had this video that he played. It was of a 92, 93-year-old man. He was an Alzheimer's patient. And before he started on carnivore, before his loved ones put him on carnivore, he almost couldn't get out of bed. And the video is him 6 weeks into carnivore, or it may have been keto. I think it was carnivore. Anyway, very low carb, lots of tons of meat, no garbage. And the video of this man walking around in his son's house. They've got one of those houses where you can walk in a circle and somebody's going around following with the video camera, and he's holding on to his son, and he's walking and he's waving his arm and he's having a good time. It was beautiful. Oh, it was beautiful to see this man come to life like that. So, and how long it lasts, what's his functioning level the rest of the time, I don't know. But if you can go from somebody who's practically bedridden to being able to move around and dance and wave your arms because you're happy, not because you're crazy, that's a good thing. It's well worth trying. I can't say enough about that. I haven't forgot. I'll never forget that video. Because Alzheimer's, most people with Alzheimer's, if they keep eating the garbage, it's just a one-way trip to nightmare. And I watched that with my dad with his dementia from type 2 diabetes. It was just a horror show. His last 3 weeks of life were not something I would wish on anybody. And something to keep in mind. We got about 15 minutes left. We appreciate you, 4 of you, hanging out with us. And, as long as we help one person, this is always worthwhile.
Amen.
It's never about the numbers. It's about who needs to hear what we're saying. You're very welcome, Tracy. I wish you all the best of luck in helping your loved one out. It's a difficult situation, but you do have choices. There are alternatives. They don't have to suffer needlessly. They just don't. And peace be with you always. Okay. Here's an issue that we both have been running into lately and might spur carnivores change your life. Congratulations, Mel. That's wonderful, buddy. Or ma'am. I'm sorry, I said Mel. I think Mel from that TV show every time I see that. Even though that TV show was 1,000 years ago. Geez, I had hair then, Amber.
Oh, that was a long time ago.
That was a long time ago. Yeah, it's changed our life too. It's just a little. But this is something we all run into. Nobody likes to deal with rude people. Not in real life. But the internet's like the rude people playground. And you get attacked and I get attacked all the time by people who hate the way we eat. They hate the fact that we advertise this way of eating. They hate the fact that we look the way we do, that we say the things that we have to say. and they come and search us out. They come to Amber's Instagram page. They come to my Twitter or to my Instagram page to tell us what awful people we are or how stupid we are. And I can't help but wonder, how pitiful does your life have to be to where that's what you do with your time? I just don't understand it.
I don't get it either. I mean, this one person who commented on one of my posts, what kind of spurred this whole conversation anyway, it was a dietitian, okay, who obviously was taught by, people like Coca-Cola and Pepsi, et cetera, like that, right? So they go by the government guidelines, that has done so much great things for us, right?
Yeah.
And this person wasn't even following me. So the only thing I can think is they must follow a certain tag I used. I don't know. But they went out of their way to make this comment on my page. And I'm like, why? I mean, it's very obvious what I do, what I stand for. Why not just keep on scrolling or just mind your business and keep doing your thing? And if you think you're doing the right thing, go for it, preach it, but oh my goodness, why come on my page and cause issues? I don't go on your page and cause issues, if I don't agree, I may roll my eyes and keep on scrolling, I don't understand that. I mean, they're not even following me. It's like, goodness.
I would say good evening to Dr. Lisa.
Hey, Dr. Lisa.
How you doing, dude? Appreciate you stopping by. Snake Diet's talking about working on changing the kids from sad diet to keto, and they're surprised at how carb addicted they are. Any chance to get sugared up, and they jump on it. It's crazy. Yeah, it's because sugar's addictive.
Yeah.
It's addictive as all get out. I used to work on a chemical dependency unit as a counselor thousands of years ago, again, when I had hair. And I've seen people talk about, heroin was easier to quit than getting off sugar. Now think about that for a minute. It's one of the most addictive drugs on planet Earth, but it's not as hard to quit heroin as it is to quit sugar. So it's not surprising that they're behaving that way. Plus, they're teenagers, they're kids, their hormones are moving left, right, upside down as they grow, the whole 9 yards. So you've got a challenge on your hands depending on how old they are, but it's very doable. And, I was taught you're going to eat what we serve you or you're not going to eat. And that's what I taught my kids. And geez, everybody's lived. I'm not going to say it was always a lot of fun, but you're in charge. Don't be afraid to exercise that authority. Let's see, Keto Farsi is smoking some brisket in Houston. Wish we were there. I wish we were there too.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, Mel says, I was taught if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. That's absolutely how I was taught. I like a good argument. Amber, you're standing when somebody comes and posts something on Amber's Instagram, I get a message saying, if you're feeling ornery, go deal with this person.
Yeah, I'm not good at dealing with that. I just don't like confrontation and people. I don't understand mean people. I am so not mean.
And I will engage with anybody if they're interested in a real discussion. And so I go in and share my thoughts on whatever nonsense they were spewing. Usually it's a myth, meat causes cancer. Or I hope you like going to the emergency room because your arteries are always clogged. That's one of my favorites. Then I go and address with the truth. And then when I run them off, I don't have to yell at them. I don't have to swear at them. I don't have to even make fun of it. I just ask them to explain why I'm still alive. Because according to their ideology, I should be deceased. I'm 23 months into carnivore as of June the 16th. So it's not that far off. I'm almost 2 years. And the only thing that happens to me is I get stronger. I get even happier than I already am on a day-to-day basis.
God.
My skin gets even healthier. There's no downside. I haven't experienced a downside. So why are you going to come pee-pee on my cereal? That's a terrible phrase. I need to come up. Why are you coming to tinkle on my ground beef and bacon for? And try to frighten me or try to scare me into reconsidering what I'm doing. There's nothing any vegan can say to me that's going to change my mind, because I have today's day 682 that I've been eating meat and drinking water. I've got 682 days of experience that says your ideology is invalid. Now, if you want to eat nothing but plants, it's none of my business. What's on your plate is none of my business.
Exactly.
What's on Amber's plate is none of my business. Unless she posts a picture of it and wants to know what I think of it.
But I mean, when we share our experience, that's exactly what it is. We're sharing our experience. It's what we've learned. You know, we may not have, you know, all of these alphabets behind our name, but we have an experience. We know how it's changed our lives. Does it mean that it's gonna, you know, change everybody's life? Well, no. And if you choose not to do it, hey, you know, that's on you. You're a big person. You can make up your own mind because we got this. And, you know, I should be allowed to do the same thing. But I should also be allowed to express, you know, the way I feel, what's happened to me. I'm not saying everybody has to do what I do or that everybody's going to have the exact same results. I'm not saying that. But, you know, I have a right to say what I want to say and post what I want to post, especially on my own page. And that's where I do it. So,
yeah, you're definitely the most non-confrontive human being I've ever met on the internet.
Well, I try to be nice.
Well, no, you're always nice.
Light confrontation. It's like, why? Just, seriously.
I had the last couple of days are a great case in point. Some party from Germany, and I know this because it's on Twitter, and they said they were from Germany, and they were typing to me in German. Oh, and they said they commented on one of my pictures recently about, you know, I'm only 59 years old, and they said, well, you look like you're 79. As soon as they said that, I thought, oh yeah, this is going to be fun. And they deleted that original tweet and wrote instead, in place of it, you actually look like you're 98.
Wow. Okay.
And at which point I thought, we'll have a little fun with this and then we'll mute them. And that's exactly what I did. I had a little fun with them. And I don't understand why people do that. And then here's the best part. After that, after I muted them, they deleted their account and started another one and came back at me this morning.
Oh, goodness. Do you not have anything better to do? What? You know?
And they were no more persuasive or successful today than they were yesterday. I just don't get that. We got about 4 minutes left here. I really appreciate, folks, you've asked some great questions tonight. It's been wonderful. This will be uploaded, like I said, to the YouTube channel. If there's anybody you want to share what we discussed with somebody, feel free. Don't hesitate. Subscribe. Follow us there. We'd appreciate it. And
you can watch me fumble with the phone in the beginning. Yeah, as it kind of kept falling like 3 times.
Well, since I'm the one who will put this video together before it's uploaded, there might be a little bit of editing. We'll see. Depends on how funny it is. If I'm looking good when all that's happening, then
wow.
You're welcome, Tracy.
I see.
We do this. We try to do this every 2 weeks. We do it more often, but real life just won't let us a good bit of the time. And real life, matter of fact, is getting even more interesting for me because the need to make music has returned.
That's awesome.
And so now I've got to decide what I'm going to give up so I can have the time to do what I need to do. And right now that's looking like the YouTube channel won't be closed, but it won't be used as much.
Hey, that's all right.
You know,
Okay.
gotta make choices. There's only so many hours in the day.
I
And
wish my muse would return and I would start writing again. Not that I really have
well,
time,
it
but
took almost 23 months for me. So you're a little shy of that yet, you know. And again, it's always
yeah,
specific to the individual.
very true.
Uh,
Yep.
it wasn't, because I was honestly thinking, looking at my gear, thinking, I may have to I can't get rid of it. I got too much invested in it. And I might want to make music again one day. Now I don't. Now it's not a question. I'm going to make music again.
That's awesome.
I've got to
One
teach.
day I'm gonna write again. I will. I will.
You will,
I'll publish again. I will. I will.
and it'll be
I'm just gonna.
awesome. And I bet there's real meat in the story.
I bet you it's gonna be a romance between a carnivore and a vegan. There we go.
That would be spectacular. And I promise my next album will not be just about meat, because that would be boring.
Oh God. Okay.
Maybe
We
one
thank you for
song,
that.
one song, maybe, you know, the bacon anthem or something, you know.
Oh God.
My friends, have a great night. We appreciate
Yeah,
you
thank
hanging out with
y'all.
us. Do the things you know you need to do to take care of you, and always be thankful.
Bye, y'all. Thank you for hanging out.